Hey there, welcome to my basement office. I came down here yesterday and I shot a video, did all the editing, and put it on YouTube, and I let my wife watch it, and I was watching her while she was watching it, and I could tell by her face that it was terrible. So I'm giving it a second try today, and rather than just telling you about the things I want to tell you, I'll just take you and show you. So let's go. Before we get too far into this field trip, I have an analogy that I'd like to share. So here goes. It seems to me that the best way to get into physical shape would be to go to a gym regularly, where you meet with a fitness instructor who tells you things like, lift up those weights, and then you lift up the weights. Similarly, it seems that the best way to get into spiritual shape would be to go to the liturgy, to go to Mass, where you have a priest who tells you something like, lift up your hearts, and then you lift up your hearts, you offer them to the Lord. In this time, however, while the gyms and the churches are closed for many of us, there's a real danger of letting both physical and spiritual flab accumulate. Because if we don't do this process repeatedly, we will lose the strength that we have gained over time. So physically, we make use of other alternatives. Maybe you are subscribing to some sort of online streaming service where a coach shows up on your screen in your home and tells you things like, lift up those weights, and then theoretically you lift them up. Of course, you can sit on the couch and do nothing, but that does nothing. Likewise, the Mass has been available to us on screens, and you can sit on the couch and just watch it and do nothing, or you can choose to try to enter into it and lift up your hearts. My hope is that after all this time of the gyms and the churches being closed, we haven't garnered too much flab and aren't too afraid to get back at it, because when the churches do open back up, hopefully we come back in still ready to do some exercise, to lift our hearts to the Lord, to give ourselves to Him completely on the altar with Jesus in the Holy Spirit, because it's only right and just, and we must do it. There, that's the analogy. Here we go. It's a little windy here in Dodge City, imagine that. So I'll explain what you're seeing while I'm here in the pickup. We made the announcement a few weeks ago that Prayer in Action would be canceled for the summer, which is a bummer. But here in Dodge City, a few students decided that they didn't care and they were going to make it happen anyway. So they looked around town and found some projects, found some people who needed help. And they've spent this past week painting and scraping and picking up people's lawns, doing all sorts of outdoor projects for those who need it. They've had this experience of Prayer in Action for maybe the last 2 or 3 or 4 years, and that has patterned in them a way of life where they think during the summer not just about what they could be spending their time doing, but instead about what other people need, and maybe you'll be inspired by them to look around at what your neighbors need and respond to those needs with prayer and with action. Okay, so as far as the updates, you'll see in the email the full documents for Bishop John's recommendations and guidelines for returning to public worship, and you'll see the updates for the priests and the seminarians. Some of our priests are being shifted around during this time, so you can see all those updates there. And I personally, as a member of the cathedral, just want to say thank you to Father Juan for your time here in Dodge City, and welcome to Father Rudin, who'll be coming to Dodge to fill that spot. And lastly, for updates, you'll see that the Chancery has reopened to staff members. However, the building remains closed to the public, so we won't be holding any in-person meetings or anything like that just yet. So for the time being, we'll still be reaching out to you via digital means like this and other ways. So thanks for being patient with us in that time. Hopefully soon we'll get to see real people in real time without the delay of screens. That's all I have for today. Thanks so much. God bless.